Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live today, live from the MyHeritage office. I'm here to bring you an amazing session today lined up for you. I see a lot of comments already coming in, some DNA questions. As you may have guessed, today we'll be talking all about MyHeritage DNA. You can see my DNA kit. Oh, sorry, wrong way. The other in the background there behind me. We're going to be talking about MyHeritage DNA and the recent update that we had. We'll be speaking with our Director of Product Management, a super exciting session for you today. So we can't wait to jump right in. Before we get to that, I'll just let you know that we have the MyHeritage Black Friday sale on now, going strong, really best prices ever, 50% off MyHeritage DNA kits. So if you are still looking for to cross some names off of your list. There's 1 month left to Christmas. Now is the perfect time for you to add a few kits to your cart and save them for the holidays for anyone on your list that you're still looking for. So we'll put a link in the comment section and you can check out that amazing deal on MyHeritage DNA kits. In addition, we'll be doing a giveaway today of a MyHeritage DNA kit for one lucky viewer in our audience. We're very excited to give that away. So all that you have to do is leave a comment in the comment section and let us know if you've tried MyHeritage, our new labels that we recently released, if you've tried them yet and what you think of them and what they've given to you and if you're excited to use them, how they've helped you with your research. So let us know, leave us a comment in the comment section, and at the end of today's session, we'll be giving away a MyHeritage DNA kit to one lucky viewer. If you've already taken one, of course, you can gift that to a friend or family member. So we're looking forward to giving that away. As with all of our Facebook Lives, feel free to leave a question throughout the session, and we hope to get to a lot of them at the end. So we look forward to seeing what you have to let us know about in the comments. Now let me introduce our speaker. As I said, we have with us our Director of Product Management, Ron Sneer. He is a very enthusiastic speaker, and we love having him on our Facebook Lives. And we know he's always so excited to join us as well. There he is. Hello, Ron.
Hey, Esther, thank you so much. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. We're so excited to have you today. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for inviting me. Always pleasure to come back.
Fantastic. So tell us what you'll be speaking about today.
So today we're going to talk about the latest addition we've added to the DNA Matches section on our website, which is called the DNA Matches Labels. That's a new tool. It kind of like joins the previous tools that we already added in the last couple of years. And it's a great addition. It was requested by many users over the years. And it pretty much, like, to sum it up or to cut a long story short, it gives you an easier way to tag your DNA matches in ways that suit you. It's very personalized, so you can make them, you can use a label in any way that you want, and kind of make an order or kind of like build lists that are easier for you to manage and later on look at your DNA matches in various ways and filter them. We'll go over all these options one by one. And we're going to talk also a little bit about what's already out. So I think that we pushed it out Wednesday last week. I think we're celebrating a week today. We started rolling that out. Took us a couple of days to get it out for everyone. And there are more things coming very soon, which I'll also talk about and show some pics.
Amazing. I'm sure everyone will be very excited to hear about what there is to come still.
Absolutely. And I think we can jump right in, right?
Okay, fantastic. So just share your screen and I'll put it up.
Sounds great. Let's see if that works.
So I guess everyone stay tuned for all the updates from Ron at the end about what's coming.
Okay. So just
okay, here we go.
Everything's ready.
Let me just put it up. One moment. There we go. All set.
All right. So as always, when I'm doing the DNA presentations, I don't want to share too much of to keep the privacy of my DNA matches. So I'm going to show mostly my family members. I'll try to use some examples to make it easier to understand and kind of make the examples more generic. But most of the time you'll be seeing my immediate family members, which I love very much. So in this case right here, we're looking at the DNA matches page. Those of you who have been with us for quite some time know that there are some changes here also to the interface, to how this page looks, looks and how the card looks. And we've made some changes in order to make room for the new labels feature and also make things slightly easier for you. I'm currently looking at the DNA kit of my dad, Rafael, who I'm the manager of. And I'm looking at his DNA matches, and you can see here myself and my brother and my grandma, his mom. And the first thing you might notice is that we've added this left panel right here next to each one of the cards with a selection box, an option to mark a match as a favorite, and also the option to add notes. It was previously here in the upper right corner. We moved it here so that management of the DNA match can, all these actions are now done from here. And so let's start. So labels, to begin with, some of you will see like a pop-up indicating you, or like a message welcoming you and indicating that there's a new feature and you're welcome to use it. But the page looks pretty much like that. So if, for example, I'm now managing my father's kit, and I want to start labeling my DNA matches, and this is his mom. So we can indicate and start indicating that this is on the maternal side, for example. I want to create a label indicating the matches that are connected to me, or my dad in this case, through the maternal side. So all I need to do is click on the checkbox right here, and a panel will open up here on the right with a short explanation. You can label by any way that you want. So there are many methods on how to organize your DNA matches and what makes your genealogical research easier and more easygoing for you. Some choose to do it by the maternal paternal, for example. Some choose to name specific ancestors of theirs, so that they can later on tag other DNA matches and indicate that those are going through that branch of the family tree. Some are adding some notes, such as people from Germany who I want to look at later on, or something like that, specific surnames that you want to tag your DNA matches by. So really everything works. So for the first example, I'll start again with my dad, and I'll tag his mom as the maternal side, right? So there's an option to create a new label. My dad currently doesn't have any labels. And when I'll create a new label, this will come up giving me the option to choose a name. There are many tricks and techniques on how to list the labels that you're creating. The list by default is sorted alphabetically. So if you want, for example, a label to appear first, you can try with kind of like an exclamation mark, or add something like that, so that to make sure that it's up on the list and appears before the letter A. I'll show you later on how I'm managing the labels for my personal kit, and then you'll be able to see that list over there. So let's say that I want to create, let's say that we want to create a new label called maternal matches. You can use up to 100 characters, so you can use very long strings if you want. And then we're giving you the option to choose a color for the label that you just created. That color will indicate on the matches list, and soon in many more places, to which label or labels you've already associated or assigned a DNA match. So I can choose, there's an option to create up to 30 different labels, and each one will get its own dedicated color. So for maternal matches, for no reason, I'm going to choose the pink. I'm going to hit save, and you can see that a new label was created. Now, even though that I created a new label, my grandma is still not associated with this label. I need to hit apply. And the reason we did that is that there's also an option to do, because sometimes, for a bunch of DNA matches, who are the ones you want to in like kind of like a bulk action, or in one action, to associate many DNA matches to one label. So if, for example, I want to also add my brother to the maternal matches, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but just for the sake of the example, now I can see that I'm going to label 2 DNA matches as maternal matches, or 3 or 4, etc. You can jump between pages. We'll keep those selections that you've done so far, and you can then choose to label those matches. So let's go ahead and hit apply. And now you can see that this dot was added right here. And if I'll hover over it, I'll see the string. I'll see the name that I gave for that label, if you forgot As time goes by, you'll get more and more used to the names and the colors that you've chosen. But at the beginning, at least, it makes a lot of sense and makes life much easier to also hover over the color and see the name. And that's pretty much how to add a label from the DNA matches page. And that's like the start. If I want to add a new label, such as this is myself, again, I'm looking at my dad's kit, I can click on that, and I create a new label and call it my favorite son. Sorry, for my brother. And I can choose the green, and now I have two labels. One's called maternal and maternal matches, and the other one is my favorite son. You can, again, select multiple matches and tag them all at once. You can add many, many labels to any DNA match. You can edit. Okay, so if, for example, I decided now that Shai is also, and my brother is also entitled to be part of the my favorite son labels, I can tick on that, hit apply, and my brother will be also associated with that label. If I want to change the name of a label, that's also optional. When you hover here at the panel, there are two options, either to edit or delete. So edit will give you the option to change the name or the colors, right? So I can choose my favorite son to be blue, or I can choose to change that to be my favorite sons. And now that's reflected as well. All right. So that's pretty much like the basic of how to play with the labels, how to create them, and how to manage them. Soon I'll jump to my own kit. One thing I wanted to say is that please know that if you delete a label, right, that means that the label itself is going to be deleted. It's going to be removed from the site. You won't see it anymore, but also the association you've previously done for DNA matches will be removed. So my grandma is no longer going to be associated with the maternal matches if I'll decide to delete that. If you just want to deassociate from a label, all you need to do is just click on that match. You'll see that it's selected. You can uncheck it, apply, and that's deassociating or removing an association from a match to a label. Okay, let's go to my personal kit. So again, we're going to look at my family members, and I've created a bunch of labels already, such as paternal, and also the names of ancestors of mine to indicate how these people are related to me. So you can see I created, all these are my family members, and I've created different labels and associated each one of them with different color, mostly in my case associating to pairs of ancestors, a couple ancestors, or to just maternal, paternal. And that makes life easier for me because I can use that also in other places. First of all, it helps me sort things out. So that's also a good opportunity to talk about the new filter that we added. So up till now, we just associated matches and put them into different groups, right? But if I want to look and just a group of DNA matches who are already labeled into a specific one, I can click. You can see that also we've changed slightly the interface of the filter section. The filters can be opened by clicking on the button right here. And now I can click on the labels. I can see here the labels that I've already created and choose to filter to see only matches that apply with this condition. So for example, if I want to look at matches who are related to me through my ancestors Fritz and Charlotte Bloom, I can tick that, hit apply, and now I can see all the DNA matches who I already labeled with that group of ancestors. You can choose to look at more than one, so I can choose to look both at Fritz and at Benjamin and Hati Rosenstein, for example, and I will see more DNA matches. So the condition here is that you don't need to have both labels or all the labels you selected associated, but rather one of them. So I'll see matches who are associated with Fritz and Charlotte and matches who are associated with Benjamin and Hati. So that's what we've done so far, and we started kind of labeling our DNA matches. But the great thing about this is that once you've started labeling and you gave your labels a label indication, let's clear the filters, for example. And what I've done here, and the way why it's really, really useful in most of the cases, is that I've created a new label called Raya Dimant. That's my grandma on my paternal side. By the way, it would be very nice to also head here paternal. Let's do that. So great. And now when I'm going to my DNA matches, to the review match page between myself and my grandma Raya, I see here the people who share DNA both with me and with her. And I can assume that all these people are related through that branch of the family as well, right? So I can look here. I changed the name again for privacy reasons before, but you can see my dad, my brother, and my daughter. But I can also see here a person called Match A, and Match B, and C, and D. And of these people up till now, that it was kind of like a bit complicated when looking outside from the DNA matches page. And even if I looked at them, I'm sorry about that, I'm jumping way too fast. If I'm looking from this page here and I saw here match A, it would have been pretty difficult for me to indicate right here or to know right from looking at this list that match A is connected to me through my grandma. So what I can do now is that I can search for match A here in the list and tag him as well as connected to me through my grandma Raya. Okay? And then that indication, that will make it much easier for me also later to filter the list to look at all of the matches that are connected to me through my grandma or through any other ancestor or by a surname. So this example also works for when looking at, for example, I created labels for specific surnames which I'm researching. Because I'm, for example, very interesting to look at my DNA matches for my Rosenstein side. So one of the things I've done is filter my list or search to look for ones. Either I can do that by filtering to see those with whom I have a shared surname and look at all the ones who are Rosensteins. Or I can search, and here you can search either by the DNA match name or by his ancestral surname, and I can type in Rosenstein, and then look at all the ones who have Rosenstein in their this Rosenstein ancestor in their ancestors' surnames, and tag them with Rosenstein as well, and then keep my research like that. So surnames is also something that I personally at least use quite a bit, and that's the trick. Now, what we've done last week is release the first phase of the DNA matches labels, which pretty much gives you the option to manage the labels from the main page right here and to filter by that. But as many of the comments, we were kind of expecting that, but we wanted to give you kind of a try and a test, and also to see how you're playing around with the feature. But many of the requests were, okay, but it's really, that's a lot of work, right? So I found my match A right here, and I want to add match A. First of all, I want to see the indication that I previously put for Raya right here, and then make it easier for me also to choose match A and match B, and also associate them with the same label, right, as my grandma's. So the good news is that we're very, very, very advanced with the development of that. I'm going to show you this from the design, but how it's going to look like. So once you've labeled the DNA match outside in the DNA matches page, you will see those indications right here, and you'll be able to hover them and see the names. And also you'll be able to add and label also from this page as well. So you can tag and create new labels, same as we've done before. But what's really cool, I think, and will be very much helpful, is that we've enriched the shared DNA matches section. That's not live yet on the website. We're still developing that, but making very good progress. And now when I see that example that Toby right here is labeled with the orange and green labels, I can click on those DNA matches and label them as well accordingly. So that is going to be option also from here as well, and we plan to roll it out as soon as possible. So bear with us, and it's coming out really, really soon. One thing I wanted to show is kind of like an example of something really cool that helped me also. I wanted to show how other features, or we spoke a little bit about the filters for surnames and the option to search by surname or any other option. But one thing that I think is really, really cool is that this is a DNA match who both I have and my dad has. I jumped back to his kit. And you can see Arnie right here. And we knew that we were related. I even met him once at the conference, and we were trying to understand what is the exact relationship. We kind of knew the path, but not super clear. Well, it wasn't super clear to us. And then one day, finally, we had a theory of family relativity that popped up that indicated that Arnie is the second cousin once removed of my dad, according to the theory. And there's a theory that we can look at. So I opened that. And based on this theory, we related through the common ancestors of Abram and Nechama Lifshitz. Those of you who are not familiar with the theory of family relativity, it will be a bit easier to show it right here. is that it's a feature that lets you, it takes all of the data points we have on MyHeritage, all the family trees, all the historical records, and is trying to connect the dots in between two DNA matches, trying to find a path that can explain how two DNA matches are related. And I can see that while we started with the Sneer family site here, and with Schonenberg's Ernie site here, there we had to use a help from another MyHeritage member to connect the dots. And I can see this path, and I believe that it's indeed a correct path, so I can confirm it. Okay, because that's indeed the connection between my dad and Arnie. But what I can do now to take it further is actually look for Arnie on my DNA matches lists. And there he is. And what I can do now is that I can create a new label, and I can give it the name of Abraham and Nechama Lifshitz, because these are our common ancestors. So I'm going to do that right now. Let's call them Abraham and Lifshitz. Did I spell it? P-S. H-I-T-Z-P-S. All right. I'm going to choose the blue, let's say, for Abraham and Nechama. Use this one better. I'm going to tag Arnie with that label right there. And now what I can do is that I can go to the review DNA match page. Now that I know the exact path how me and Arnie are related, I can go to the review DNA match page, look at the shared DNA matches, and also label all of them, or some of them after I look deep into that, with the same label of Abraham and Nechama. That's a huge hint now to a bunch of DNA matches who previously I didn't know how they're related to me. So if me and Arnie are connected through this couple, and I have DNA matches who I share, and Arnie has the same DNA matches that he shares, and we all share one another, we don't have too much time, but also I probably would have used the chromosome browser a bit to look for triangulation. But I would probably go with that and then label them as well. And that's a huge hint now of how to look at those DNA matches and what the probable connection might be, or where should I look for next. So that was kind of like a quick overview of what we've done so far and what's coming up next. We spoke about the filters. We spoke about what's coming up soon. And I think that we can open it up for questions. Esther, you're around?
I'm here, just getting the screens back in order. So thank you, Ron. Thank you so much for that overview, and I'm sure that everyone will be very excited to see all those parts of the labels that are coming up. I know a lot of them were requested features, so they'll be very excited to see that they are in the plan and they are coming soon. So anyone who has questions, please feel free to write them in the comments, and I'll read you just a couple of the comments that we've received so far, Ron. Sylvie says, I love this new tool so much. Thank you, MyHeritage. Devin says, the filtering by groups is really, really great. So that is definitely, I would say, so useful, just that being able to then filter your DNA matches, not just by groups, but by groups and other criteria as well at the same time. Let's see. Devin also asks, I am behind in playing with this feature, but didn't we see a slide that says that those dots are going to show up on the shared match view? So just to reiterate, because I think probably there might be a little bit of confusion here in the audience if you saw Ron's screen that showed that it is available on the shared match page. It is coming soon. Right, Ron? Do you want to give an estimate?
No. No, I mean, no. So we are very advanced in the development of that. We're hoping to get it out in December timeframe.
Okay, fantastic.
So, give me some buffer so that people won't say, but he said December 3rd. So no, somewhere in December it's going to go.
Don't hold him to it, but it's being worked on as we speak. So it's coming. It's in the works, and if everyone can just, we're on it. So we know that it's something that everyone is looking for. So Devin, you did see that screen. You didn't imagine it, but it is coming, and it's being worked on. And Ron was just showing things that are coming soon. So definitely on the way. Dolores asked, how can you know which part of the DNA is from the father and which part is from the mother? I guess more of a general DNA question here, Ron.
No, but a very good one, actually. So the way most people do that is by using reference points. So you need someone you know. Okay, so the shared DNA matches is a really good start. The chromosome browser is another great tool that we have that allows you to understand that a little bit better. And we have a few others that do that. There are some ways on how to figure that out. The thing I recommend the most is testing another family members of yours, a cousin or a direct ancestor if you can. And that way, if you look, for example, I was lucky enough to test both my mom and dad and some of my grandparents. And then when I'm looking at the DNA match, I'm trying to see whether he's also matching one of them. So if I matched Esther, for example, I would have went to my page, my review match page with Esther, and looked at the shared DNA matches, and I was expecting to see there my mom or my dad somewhere at the top of the list. So if I would have seen my mom, I can assume that Esther is related to me on my maternal side. If I've seen my dad, the paternal. Same way you can use cousins, and cousins give you even first and second and third cousins if you can, more if you can, are great because they are not only indicating to you maternal, paternal, they can also indicate to you which grandparents those matches are related to you through. There are a couple more methods, as I mentioned, such as the chromosome browser and the auto clusters feature that we have that also breaks your DNA matches into groups that are related to you through different ancestors. And that sometimes can hint. Surnames is a great way. If you look at this person's tree and you see a surname that you know how that you're familiar with and know where it's coming from in your ancestry, that's a great option as well. For those who have parents or grandparents from different ethnicities, there's a component in the review match page, shared ethnicities, where you can look at your DNA match, and that's also sometimes helpful, mostly for in case you're looking at the DNA match who doesn't have a family tree on MyHeritage. And then, if, for example, my mom is of an Italian descent and my dad is Iberian, and I'm looking at the match and he's Italian, I can assume that probably is on my maternal side, or at least that's a hint to start looking at that direction. So there are various tools on the website that can help you figure out how each one is connected to the other.
And of course, we have past Facebook Lives about all these different tools that you spoke about auto clusters, about theory of family relativity. There have been multiple Facebook Lives from experts, DNA experts, and from you, Ron, in the past. So feel free to check them out. For anyone who doesn't know, all our Facebook Lives are available on the MyHeritage Facebook page under the videos section. And this one will be as well. So you'll be able to hold Ron to his promises. You can rewatch it and then tell him it's recorded and it's there. So feel free to check out those past Facebook Lives as well. I have another question for you that I know a lot of, it comes up for a lot of users. As our DNA database grows and more users test with MyHeritage DNA, especially around the holidays, I know a lot of people take DNA tests and upload them, and our users receive more and more DNA matches. So let's say a new user, who receives hundreds, maybe thousands of DNA matches, and they've never really kind of plowed through them before. And now that we have labels, where should they start? What should their starting point be? How should they tackle this kind of? I know it can be very intimidating for, let's say, for our new users who are new to DNA or have just taken a DNA test and they have all these matches in front of them.
Right. So it really depends on what you're trying to look for when taking a DNA test. And I think that what I love the most also about my job is that we have users who are using the product in various ways. Some are more interested in figuring DNA matches on a specific branch of the family. Some are specifically interested in the ethnicity estimate. Some are interested in figuring out to help solve a brick wall. And each one is taking the product and using it in different way. The list of DNA matches by default is sorted in a way that's showing you the closest people to you. I think that what I would have done if I've taken a DNA test is first make sure I have a good family tree on MyHeritage with as much information as I can, as many ancestors as I can to add and cousins. so that more information is there, and increase my chances of also increasing my chances as a user to give my heritage the option to find some hints for me that will make it easier. And what I usually recommend is to go over the ones that are closest to you, contacting them, trying to look at their family trees, understanding how they are related. And it's really like a puzzle. Like I think that's the reference I like the most, is that once you figure out how one DNA match is related to you, that usually opens up a whole new block of opportunities for looking at many more DNA matches, because you have kind of like a good hint, such as like we showed now with the labels. So if I know how one person is connected to me, that gives pretty much good indication on all of our shared DNA matches, or at least on the close ones, of how they might be related. And then it's pure genealogy fun of trying to understand. We'll try to give you as many hints as we can, such as where on the chromosome you exactly match, up to shared surnames and places and ethnicities, smart matches if you have same individuals in your tree and the other person's tree. So there are many, many, many different ways how to look, and I think some are more advanced, some are more easy to understand and play with. But that's what I usually start with, the closest ones, and go from there. Or test a family member and use that information that, like, from testing a cousin, to understand how DNA matches are related to.
Okay. And anyone in the audience, if you've had success already with DNA labels and you'd like to tell us kind of how you're using them to organize your DNA matches, we would love to hear. We'd love, what successes you've had, whether it be marking the different towns, using the labels for different geographic areas, or for sides of your family, or for your favorite child, as Ron was showing in his example. Any different ways that you found have been helpful so far, please do let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear how you're using them and how they're going, and especially as we add the new additions that Ron was talking about, all the future enhancements that are going to be coming out hopefully before the end of the year or in early 2022, and we hope to make it even easier to use and more useful. So just one last question before we end off here, Ron. I know it comes in a lot, so we just want to ask you, when can all of our users, last year in just before Christmas, I think it was maybe on Christmas Eve, we came out with our genetic groups, 2,114 regions. So I know that the question on everyone's mind is when is our ethnicity update coming out? I know obviously you can't give an exact date, but if you can tell everyone kind of what we're working on there and what everyone can expect.
Right. So the good thing about MyHeritage is that we have many teams working in parallel on many different new features and enhancements. So that gives us the option also to work on labels in parallel to the work we're doing now on the new ethnicity estimate. We're making very good progress. To be completely honest, we hope to get it out by the end of the year, and it doesn't seem like we're going to meet that. Unfortunately, we had a few setbacks, and this is a pretty complex project, I'd say. I'm very much involved in that. We're making good progress. We're definitely going to get it out in 2022. Hopefully as soon as possible, but there's still some work there to be done. We heard kind of like sharing like a product manager's dilemma, right, of when to release a new feature. So we listened throughout the years about the different feedbacks, and since there are so many ethnicities and genetic groups introduced a whole new addition to that world, right, of giving an ethnicity estimate result. So we received lots of feedback, different feedback from people. We received various types of results, and we wanted to make sure that this time we're not going to do that like kind of like a bit by bit, or release that gradually, and we want to kind of do it like the right way. And if that means delaying it a bit, we prefer to do that over compromising on the quality of what we're going to put out. And that was the major decision of why to wait a little bit longer. The results look promising, and I'm very motivated by what we're seeing now when we're working on the new model. So I'll have to ask you all to be a little bit more patient. I know that you're all been waiting for that, uh, but it's coming. I can assure you we have many people in the company and in my team working on that as we speak right now. So that's our
Fantastic.
that's
And I'm sure everyone in the audience here can appreciate that, that we're not willing to compromise on the quality and really want to bring a good result and an amazing new feature. So I see Devin wrote here. First, he wrote, "By the way, you're so mean to release all these new features during the holidays." Well, we know, Devin, that it's genealogists don't sleep. So 24 hours a day they spend on genealogy. We're just trying to help you with filling those hours of the day. So. Um, Anyhow, we're so excited now to give away a MyHeritage DNA kit to one lucky winner. So thank you all for being in the audience and for commenting and leaving us all these amazing messages with feedback about the new feature. And our winner today of One MyHeritage DNA kit is Joanne Johnston Wilson. And Joanne wrote to us and said, "Love the new labels. Tried it the other day when it came out, and I can't wait to use it more to organize the thousands of DNA matches that I have." So congratulations, Joanne, and we'll be in touch with you through private message to claim your prize. We hope that you use DNA labels a lot in the future to help with those thousands of matches, and that they help you make a little order with all your research, with all your DNA research. So, Ron, thank you so much for being with us today and giving us a little walkthrough of the labels. And we hope to have you back on sometime soon.
absolutely my pleasure, and we'll have much more to talk about in the near future. So you can count on that.
Amazing. Amazing. We're all looking forward to that so much. So thank you, everyone, and have
Thank
a
you
nice
everyone
day.
for joining.